Another very nice feature added by Next.js is file-based routing. Now, what does this mean? In traditional React, you don't even have a router. And just to be clear, routing means that we give the user the illusion of having multiple pages. When we navigate around and we load different pages, then that's the job of a router. Typically, we use React Router for that. This router basically watches the URL, and when it changes, it basically prevents the browser default of sending a request to some backend server, and instead renders different content on the page with React, a different component in the end. That's what routing is. We change what's visible on the screen based on the URL without sending an extra request to a server, because we stay in that single page application which we typically build with React. Now that's routing, and typically with React, routing is set up in code. That code could look something like this, depending on the version of React Router you're using. Now this works, and it's not bad, not wrong. React Router is a great package, but it is extra code which you have to write. And then often you end up storing your components that act as pages in a separate folder, which kind of replicates your route setup in code. So if you have 3 pages set up as pages in code, you have 3 page components in that pages component folder. Makes sense, I guess. Now, since that's the case, Next.js gets rid of that in-code route definition. Instead, with Next.js, you define pages and routes with files and folders. You have a special pages folder in Next.js apps, which has to be named pages, and then your structure in that folder defines the routes and paths your page supports. And of course, we're also going to learn how that works in this course. Now, that simply allows us to get rid of that extra code, and hence we have to write less code, we have less work, and it's a highly understandable concept because it's very close to how we all started with web development. When you're getting started with just HTML and CSS and some basic JavaScript maybe, then you build basic websites by adding multiple HTML files, and the names of these files or the folders in which they sit define how you can navigate between these files, how you can link these files together. And Next.js basically allows us to go back to this very basic yet understandable concept of routing. And Next.js still supports all the features we might want, like nested routes or dynamic routes with dynamic parameters and all of that. And we're going to see that in this course, of course.